Thank you. I didn't even have to say anything. Thank you. Okay.
Well, I've taken away for a week last time.
Yeah, well, we don't want it to go, right? So one of the things that we talked about last week was triggers. Can someone recap? What did we talk about triggers? What was the conversation about?
Well, I didn't like when you took my pen without asking me, so I got a bit mad.
Okay, so for
I
you,
It was
I
just,
think that triggered me, that was a trigger.
so that was a trigger. So that's an example of something that happened in this session, but what we were talking about is finding out what our triggers are. What sets you off? And we talked about what triggers are. So this week, what I really want us to look at is just that, is what are your triggers?
This group sets me off.
This group sets you off. Okay, well, let's hear a little bit. What is it about the group?
I don't want to participate in it.
Yes, and we talked about that at the first session. And we
we
came
have
to the,
to.
which
It's stupid. We have no choice but to be here.
That's right. And so what you're gonna try to do is give us a chance to say, you're true, you don't have a choice. So what's the alternative to being here? What happens?
Expelled.
So this is where you are so that you can stay in school and be part of it. And we're working on, what's the purpose of our sessions?
Anger management,
That's it. You're working on how to manage those outbursts, and we've talked about it. So that kicking in a locker,
Yeah, but see, that's exactly it. The laughing all the time, it's like I know I have to be here, but I can't control my temper, and like just Jen laughing like that, you know, like what, I'm just supposed to sit here?
yeah, and we've talked, but we're gonna deal more with some of the strategies that you've gotta learn to use. But today, I just wanted to hear from each of you. Take a moment and think about what has been your trigger. What sets you off, not in this group, but outside of this group. What has set you off? If someone says something or does something, you know that is gonna be your trigger. So give me an example. What's your trigger?
I don't know, it's like asking a question every time.
So people that ask you too many
Yeah,
questions.
it's my life, I do what I wanna do. That's it, leave me alone, it's like,
Okay, so when people are probing, asking too many questions, you fly off the handle?
yeah,
And what happens when you fly off?
when I kick somebody's butt.
And the challenge has been that you actually have kicked somebody's butt, right? What has happened? What's the outcome?
Leads,
Bleeds, and what happens to you?
happy,
Well, there's a second outcome. You might be happy in the moment because you got rid of your frustration, but what's the outcome after?
get punished.
You have a consequence. That consequence not always so pleasant. Okay. So for you, your trigger is people that just barrage you with too many questions.
My face,
Okay.
every time.
In your face, so I'll make sure I don't do that. Okay. What about you?
For me, I must say that there's been some discrimination issues. Maybe like my bird, they don't like my bird, they make some remarks, some racial remarks, so I
Okay.
don't like it.
So you don't, and what have you done?
So I'm just like slapping people at times, so I get so frustrated, so I give some slaps.
So you've hit people
Yeah, but
when they have made or looked at you the wrong way?
yes, of course, but I'm not being like too violent, but because I don't like to get in much trouble. But the fact that I don't like these remarks, so I won't like people stopping.
Okay. So one of the things that we're gonna look at in our sessions as we go on is, what do you do when someone just does your trigger? And you have said, okay, I don't like when people look at me a certain way. I don't like those comments. But your way of handling it so far has gotten you into
Trouble.
trouble. So we're gonna look at, how do you manage that? Because could it happen that people will continue to look at you? Is it possible that people are looking at them and they don't mean anything bad? Is that possible?
I don't know, he's African.
So that's the way it is for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
Slap her.
it's good, I like the fact that right now, you just showed an example of some self-control, because your eyes told me, I don't like what she just said, right? But you controlled
Yes.
yourself. Okay, that's good.
I'm trying.
You're trying. So one of the things, what did you just do now? I noticed his fist. He was holding himself tight, but he didn't get up and he didn't do anything. That's good. That was one way you just managed to control yourself. All right, what about you, Sean? What's your trigger?
They think I'm stupid and they're always making fun of me and laughing at me.
And what would be an example of
Well,
someone,
just before, Jen laughing, just like that.
is it possible Jen was just laughing and not laughing at you?
She was looking right at me.
She was looking at you. Would we all agree that Jen
Yeah,
was
she
looking?
was.
Hmm?
She was.
She was, okay.
She makes fun with people all the time.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
but more to me, like I get, like, it, you know, it's just.
so
okay.
is, so
Oh, it's just-
Sean, yeah, how about looking at me like that? Thank you. Sean, what is it that people say? Give us an
Oh, you're
example.
fucking stupid.
Okay, if someone
Maybe
says
stop
that to
being such
you,
a baby.
right, and those kinds of comments, okay, would be,
Hey, you used
So-
to having a baby because you're gonna have one soon, bro. Where you going?
okay, so you start to get a feel of how this session can go. In other words, they're presenting challenges and, you're provoking some triggers right here in the
Every
session.
character.
Right?
In every character.
Okay, and, what I would be trying to do is getting, and it's not gonna happen quickly, is getting them to think about triggers and consequences, outcomes, and how they wanna change the outcome. If the outcome is they get privileges taken away, they're getting expelled, and now they may not be allowed to stay in the school, that's a real problem. Now, some of them might say, I don't give a shit, right? Do it. I mean, but we're trying to say, well, you're 15, let's see if we can get you through this period so that you're managing your anger, the outbursts, the kicking of the lockers, the hitting of people, telling people where to go. Those are the inappropriate behaviors. But what I would be doing in this session is, what are your triggers? And trying to get them to identify what their sore spot is. That's just a small piece of a session, and I might do a different kind of an activity next time. But each of them are built upon anger management, identifying, controlling, finding better ways to manage their anger. Is it frustration, humiliation, shame? I would be working with words and feelings, right? So that people, they may not show me anything in a session, right? Because that would be admitting too much. But the hope is you walk out of here and, okay, maybe thought about something, right? That's the idea. You're planting seeds. So that would be just a piece. And in this case,
Couldn't the session itself become a trigger?
absolutely, absolutely. But in this is a talking session. Am I expecting that that's what you all do? No. You asked me to come up with something, I gave you an example of one little piece of anger management. This is what I might be doing with 15-year-olds. Rather than, would I do this, would I do talk with 8-year-old boys? Absolutely not. Yes.
After when you are within the session,
This
you,
is,
you give the advice how to improve something or only discussion? Or
in this one, it would be, I was having them explore their own triggers. Giving advice, most people don't take it.
And you take notes of what they say or what?
I am taking note, but I'm not taking notes, I'm taking notes in here, so that I can figure out how to respond to them. But no, I'm not taking notes. If I did that, they would stop talking and they would want to leave. If I said, just hold on.
Every word I'm saying is being recorded, so
So
I'm not
it's
gonna
the
say
role
anything.
of the adults of the group. Who takes the
No,
note?
no one needs to take notes, that's not, I'm not asking people to take notes. What I'm saying is, I just gave you a mini piece of a session to give you a feel and flavor of how is this different than running an activity. It's different. I have a motive, I have an objective, I'm working on anger management. What am I going to be doing in the session to help you improve on that? If it was children, I might have happy faces, sad faces, irritated faces. I might be doing something more active, because children you can't say there, sit there for 40 minutes and we're going to talk. And if they're boys, I would talk even less, right? So it's who are my clients? How will I help them move a little in whatever challenge they're experiencing? But my purpose for you was just trying to give you for this, that's what I might be doing. If you were in a school and you were doing friendship making, you might do an actual activity where they have to share, but then you talk about the sharing or what they did. Don't just do action without linking, okay? Does that give you a better idea? Yes?
But in a scenario like this, what would the other team members be doing?
It's what I
Oh,
say.
okay, you meant of the leaders. Yes, well, in that case, I'm just doing it for myself. You might, if you were the other team members, one of you would be introducing the activity. You might tell us more about anger management.
Somebody
Right.
does the summation at the end.
Maybe
apart
two
from-
people
okay.
would be running, or you would introduce two people. There's a break in your session, a mini break, and the two other people take it, continue it. You've got to figure out how you're going to balance so that everyone has different parts. There's some research, there's the presentation of background information. If you figure out what are the different things that make sense for that context you're dealing with, for that age group, and then how are they going to, what's their job, and how do you make it equitable? So that when it comes time, you all feel you made an important contribution to the success of that group project. But can I expect that 8 people, 6 of you are all up here? No. You figure it out, and obviously then if you're the one who's doing the background, that's your part. You're standing up, you're talking. If you're doing, so then what other piece can someone else talk about? Because there are different things. You don't know that much about anger management. Or there's materials to design and make. Someone could be doing that. So you all have to contribute, but in different ways. Okay? Yes.